Most people know about the 42-chapter book in the Bible called Job, or Job. Whatever it's called, let's dive in and learn a basic understanding of this book, and maybe we'll find ourselves answering some of Christianity's major questions, like why do bad things happen to good people? How do we react to evil and bad things as Christians? And finally, the biggest question of all, why are we Christian? So let's get right into the nitty-gritty of Job. This is Job. He is righteous, upright, and almost perfect Christian. Meanwhile, God saw Job, and when Satan came threatening God's people, God asked if Satan had tried Job. Satan said he would, and that he'd bet that even Job wasn't righteous enough not to curse God after what he was going to do to him. God allowed Satan to do whatever he pleased with Job, with one exception: don't take his life. Back on earth, Job gets word from a messenger that some Sabaeans, a native people of the time, had killed some servants, and he barely escaped. Before Job could even question, another messenger came and told Job his cattle was burned alive with some more of his servants. The messenger said that he barely made it out to tell him. Then another came, telling him how his camels had been killed by the Chaldeans, a different group of people, and killed the rest of his servants too. He said he barely made it out. Then finally, one more messenger came, telling Job his family had been crushed by the debris of his house. He lost his money, land, cattle, and worst of all, his family. Even his own wife told him to curse God and die. It was all gone. Job shaved his head, tore his clothes, and immediately worshipped God in his distress. In all this, he praised God, saying, "Blessed be the name of the Lord, because what he gives, he can take away." In all this, he did not sin. That wasn't the end of it. Satan then went back to God, asking if he could affect Job's physical body. God, knowing Job's character, allowed Satan to do whatever he pleased with Job's body, but to not kill him. He also informed Satan that Job seemed to be holding up well, even with all Satan had taken away. Now we see a shattered Job, mentally, sitting in ashes, and physically with sores all over his body. He scraped the sores with broken pottery while sitting in anguish and pain. There was no hope for our perfectly righteous friend, Job. Job was a good, righteous man with 3 good, righteous friends who were not going to shy away from him in this time of distress. Their names were Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. But when they saw him, all they could do was cry. They hardly recognized him. They sat and rested with him for 7 days, thinking and wondering. The first thing said was by Job. He cursed his own birth. He continued to ask God why. Why would he do something so cruel to Job when Job did everything right? Then Eliphaz spoke up, saying Job must have sinned for such evil to come to him. Bildad agreed. Zophar went as far to say that Job deserved worse. Job didn't like this, and he said that his friends were not very good friends, saying they were miserable comforters. This goes on for 16 chapters until chapter 32, when a young new player enters the stage, Elihu. There are many theories and assumptions of who this man was, but we'll let you research those on your own. Elihu had been listening to the conversation between Job and his friends, and finally said something. Elihu told Job that he shouldn't justify himself before he justifies God, and that Job's friends should find a problem before they accuse Job. Finally, in chapter 38, God talks to Job in a huge storm, giving us a final conclusion on the questions Job asked, and the questions we are to this day asking. He answered Job's question with many questions. He asked Job, where was he when he laid the foundation of the earth, or when he rose the sun? We eventually understand what God is saying is we won't and can't understand Job's suffering. Only God can understand what's going on with Job, not his friends or Elihu, only God. Job, after this response from God, goes silent. Job repented to God, and God told Job's friends that they spoke wrongly against him and that Job was correct on most of the things he said. The friends heard this and repented. Job forgave them and prayed for his friends. In the end, God multiplied what Job had before the incident, and Job never cursed God as Satan said he would. And Job died happily, enjoying everything good the Lord had given him in his long, happy life, leaving amazing fruit and a legacy we can still learn from today. Want to know more about Job? Stay tuned to 3 days, and the 3 questions at the beginning of this talk that our stick figure friend asked will soon be talked on. See you soon.